What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel once again, and welcome back to episode 2 of TSGG's Game Pass Gold. This week's episode is a little bit of a double whammy. It is an indie, and it also is on Game Pass for Xbox. It is Below. If you've heard of it before, it's a permadeath game, and it is rage-inducing. So I hope you enjoy the video. We're going to break down why I think it's a game that you should all download, especially on Game Pass, and I hope you enjoy. As always, if you do, leave a like and subscribe, and have an awesome week. Okay, so with introductions out of the way, let's break down Below by Capybara Games. Why do I think you should grab it, and why is it episode 2 of TSGG Game Pass Gold? As always, if you're following the channel, you know we're going to use our review template for this, starting with fun factor and emergence. This game is a survival permadeath game. It has the kind of survival mechanics of eating, drinking, being by the fire, things like that, while also if you die in the depths, you die, that character is gone. It is no longer able to be played. It is out of here. So as far as fun factor and emergence goes, that those mechanics in games are a kind of a brand new thing. Well, I guess it's a spin on a brand new thing. Survival games have been out for quite a while, but the permadeath is kind of something new to mainstream. It's there are a lot of games coming out with it now, such as Dead Cells, this game Below, of course, many more. I can't think of off the top of my head. I've been playing a lot of Below today, and it's really all I can think of. But fun factor and emergence in this game is pretty in depth. It's a very, very pretty game. It's the indie art style I talked about last week. It is a Game Pass Gold game, of course. But if you watch the TSGG Indie Adventures video, you know I talked about this indie art style that I love, and being an indie by Capybara Games, it has it, and I can't describe it in any other way. It is just beautiful. It looks painted. It's something you don't see in AAA titles, and I wish you did. Ori and the Blind Forest kind of has that feel, even though it's a platformer, so it has that look. But other than that, you don't really see a lot of it outside of the platformer genre in AAA titles, and I wish you did, because it's a beautiful art style. And it makes a game feel very immersive when you enjoy what you're looking at that much. But I'm getting away from fun factor and emergence a little bit. The game it's got basic combat. It's basically dungeon crawling at its most basic form. You're going through kind of the depths. You're kind of going down and down, deeper and deeper into this mountain, and the whole point is to survive. You're collecting water, you're collecting food, you're crafting, you're fighting, of course. You're picking up lamps to light your way into the depths from the enemy monsters. It's really fun. It's very basic, and it needed to be, because this is an enjoyable game. And of course, if it was something super complex and with permadeath, I fought through so many things only to die in a dumb way, I'm gonna get pretty frustrated. So keeping it kind of basic and going with the way that they did it is probably the best way, and I'm not going to complain about it at all, because I've died a few times, and I can tell you already, without the complex fighting mechanics and things, it can be frustrating, especially if you're pretty deep down. Of course, with any other permadeath game, there are benefits to dying as well, but I'm going to leave those to you to find out. Moving on to the next category, control and gameplay mechanics. I know I did get into that a little bit with the fun factor and emergence. I was all over the place there. But basically, like I said, it's basic, it's attack, it's move. There is a block mechanic, but basically I don't use the block mechanic, as you probably saw in the MK tournament. It's just not something I do. I attack and I dodge. So it's smooth. It's a fun game. It's basic. It's what I wanted it to be. I do love the crafting system. I love the food and water system in the game. I love the survival mechanics, because in a lot of games they struggle with that. They make you have to eat or drink every 5 minutes, and that's just not reality. And those are very annoying to have to stop and drink or eat that often. This game doesn't have that. It will tell you when you're hungry, but it's something that is very simple. There are a lot of food to pick up on the way through the depths. And it's not cumbersome, I guess, and that's what I want it to be. I want survival to be in the game, but I don't want it to be something that I'm like, oh my god, I have to eat again. This is just dragging on at this point, and I don't want to do it. The crafting system is very cool, being able to craft arrows and things of that nature that help you on your quest into the depths. Very, very fun. So well done there by Capybara Games. But moving on to category number 3, we have graphics. And this is what I was talking about in the beginning with the indie art style that I love. Not only does the art look painted and just look beautiful, that it coincides so well with the game that they've created. So basically, the game is about going deeper and deeper into the ground and seeing the things. It has puzzles. It has kind of a little bit of platforming. And they do it really well with this. The graphics are what you'd expect out of an indie. They're beautiful and artistic, while not at the same time carrying that kind of 60 FPS or the realism that we kind of see. It reminds me a little bit of like old school Zelda in the movement and the actual style. You're kind of in a third person, but a high up third person. So it does remind me a little bit of like the old school kind of handheld Zelda games. So not a negative there. I really do enjoy it. It's definitely another one of those games that I can play. It definitely does get frustrating at times, but I can play it and relax and just kind of enjoy what I'm doing, which I'm kind of trying to give you those games with the Game Pass Gold, because not a lot of people want to sweat games. Video games, we play it because we love it, and a lot of these games are just beautiful games that I want to play and enjoy. Moving on from there into the music and sound. The music in this game is... it's somber. That's the best word for it. It matches what the game is. So the game is permadeath. It is fear. It is going into the ground and fighting monsters. And the game sound matches that. The music is very, very somber. It is kind of echoey and lonely, and it does a great job of it, starting from the very first scene. It's just... it is what it is. It's kind of repetitive, which a lot of indie games do, because they may not have the budget for it, as far as the multiple music scores and things like that some of the AAA titles have. But I have no problem with it. Like I said, it really sets the mood in this game, and I do enjoy that. But that's all I've got for that one. Moving on to the final category, story and replayability. Sorry. This is where permadeath games really do shine, because it gives you... when you die and that character's gone, it gives you a whole new way to replay it, and you kind of have to take different paths there. Permadeath games like Below and Dead Cells, they force you to, because they create random paths. Every time you die, the actual dungeons and things switch, and that right there just adds so much replayability, because it's never the same thing. Of course, if you play 100 dungeons, 2 of them might match, but it's something that it just really, really adds to the replayability and makes the game very enjoyable, because it takes 100 dungeons to feel like, wow, I've been here before. If you've played games like Diablo and things like that, sometimes with those, they can get repetitive. These don't really have that, because they do have that random kind of dungeon crawl feel, where everything is different each time you go through it, and with each death it changes. So I do really enjoy those. That aspect of permadeath games, they can be pretty frustrating when you've put a lot of effort into a character, but it is something that it's just a great mechanic that is coming a lot to gaming now. Like I said, we've seen it in quite a few games in the last year or so, and I'm hoping to see it going forward as well. I know it's helped a lot of these indie developers come kind of out of the woodwork. Dead Cells was all over the Game Awards, and it was just, I hope to see more of that. Below was a featured game on Gamepass, because it's a very fun game. But that's all I've got for you guys tonight with the Below. This is why I recommend it. If you do enjoy it, let me know. I want to know what you guys think of this series, because these games, I want you to be able to play them. I want you to enjoy them. And if I'm picking games that you don't enjoy, let me know, because I can move on. We can change things up. And I do want to hear your opinions on it. But as always, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe, and have an awesome week.